Welcome to Work Innovators Network. We're at VentureX at the Realm at Castle Hills, and this is the Big Move podcast. I'm your host, Tony Martinez. If you're a business owner coming out of the worst year of your career, I have some good news for you. There is light at the end of the COVID-19 tunnel, and it is called North Texas. This region is again leading the nation in economic recovery. And on today's show, we're going to talk to Jason Moore, the Director of Economic Development for the City of Lewisville, and we're going to ask him, why Lewisville? Why North Texas? And some of the numbers that are coming out of here are going to stun you. Well, let's face it, this is a region that is purposely driven to economic success. And VentureX, the Realm at Castle Hills, Lewisville, is located here just between Dallas and Fort Worth, just a few steps from your gate at DFW Airport. But let's begin with an overview of this region, this city of Lewisville of 116,000 people. Incorporated as a city on January 15, 1925, Lewisville was settled in the 1840s, the result of a grant the new state of Texas gave to the Texas Emigration and Land Company to bring 600 families to Denton County. By the time it was incorporated in 1925, population was already around 800, and by 1960, the Corps of Engineers had already built the Lewisville Lake Dam, and the big move to one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S. was underway. Well, the city today occupies 36.4 square miles in Denton County and is a home rule city operating under a city manager form of government. The city council consists of a mayor and 5 members serving 3-year terms. Now, in recent years, the city has gained national attention for attracting a variety of companies looking to relocate to North Texas, the heart of the American economy. Many of these companies are in advanced manufacturing, biotechnology, life science sectors, as well as the e-commerce and data center industries. These outstanding corporate entities and the other 9,000 companies that call Lewisville home come here to do business and to raise their families in one of the safest metropolitan regions in the country. If you live here, you know how the State Highway 121 corridor has exploded in recent years. We're working today at VentureX at the Realm at Castle Hills. This was a prairie 5 years ago, and today 120 restaurants and more than 100 retail stores are within a 3-mile radius. No doubt, the big move is on. And here is Lewisville by the numbers, a population of just under 120,000 residents. That is going to change soon. Median age of 32.8 years, that is a very good number, a young number, and a lot of room, a lot of square miles. Look at that, 36.7 square miles, and over 9,000 companies are here. Well, now I am pleased to welcome Jason Moore to the Big Move podcast. Jason, what do you think about our digs here?
This is an awesome studio. So I'm super impressed. I don't know. I feel like I'm on a national stage here. So thank you for having me.
It is great to have you with us. Jason is the Director of Economic Development for the city of Lewisville. And I wanted to start by talking to you about the 800-pound gorilla in the neighborhood. I'm talking about, of course, Castle Hills. You know, Castle Hills master plan community, 2,900 mixed use acres here, and a city that was started, people started moving here in 1998, but since then, maybe even a couple years before, the city's been working to annex Castle Hills. That is supposed to happen by December of this year, I understand. Is that a paradigm shift for Lewisville?
Yeah, when you look back at Lewisville proper, back in 1996, when the initial special purpose agreement for annexation was put in place, Lewisville was a small town. Bustling, of course, and growth, but when you look at where we are today, fully almost 98% built out, this is an entire city we're about to annex, and that's a huge deal. It provides opportunities for both the commercial and the residential development that does not exist in Lewisville. It hasn't existed before. We're aging out in a lot of our office products, and Castle Hills is going to provide the Class A office as we're in this beautiful building here today. This is a place that a lot of corporate headquarters are looking to relocate. And so we're hoping that this is a new opportunity. It's a crown jewel of Lewisville. We see it as the eastern anchor for the city. And we're very excited that this is going to be an enormous part of our economy going forward.
So Castle Hills was built by H.R. Bumbright, the former owner of the Cowboys. And when this annexation is complete, it's going to make Louisville, with almost 150,000 residents, what does that do for you? Is it the people, or is it the fact that you now have control of the land and how you want to develop that?
Well, we've got a great relationship with Bright Realty in terms of the owner, developer of most of the undeveloped land today. And we trust their judgment in what types of development should occur. And so we've worked very closely with them. So there's not a sense of control that's going to be enhancing Louisville with the annexation. What it is, it gives opportunities for those residents to now have city services. Mm-hmm. If you talk to the Bright family today, they'll tell you that a lot of times they're running a city when they're a developer, and so they want to hand off the job of running a city over to people that do that as for a living, and which is Louisville. And so it's a win-win relationship. I think that what we're going to both benefit from is the strategic location that we have and the expertise that we both have and that can bring to the table, them from the development side mm-hmm. and the high quality that they bring. Louisville from city services, we have one of the lowest tax rates in the Metroplex, right. And we provide some of the best services for our residents. And so I think that's going to be an opportunity for both of us to have a win.
Certainly an opportunity that I know a lot of people are looking for, because with this development, with what you have here, truly comes the opportunity to have a business environment and, of course, the families that will make that doable, that provide that tax base for you to be able to do those things. Talk to me a little bit about that, about what this means for the future of Louisville to have this annexation complete.
Sure. Well, like I mentioned, the build out of Louisville proper, we're at 99% built out. So there's not a whole lot of room for growth, and you need to grow as a city to continue enhancing those different parks and trails and opportunities for retail and shopping and restaurants. And that's what this is going to provide. We have a direct connection down this $1 billion mile, Sam Rayburn Tollway and 121 into Old Town Louisville. The City Council of Louisville has been very eager to see redevelopment occur in Old Town. We're bringing $45 million developments. We've got 3 under construction right now. And so how do we bring those new residents into Castle Hills and vice versa? How do we get Castle Hills residents to come and shop and enjoy the restaurants and retail in Old Town? And that is really this blend that I think is a natural progression. It's very organic growth that we're seeing. Mm-hmm. Even though we're going to be annexing overnight 30,000 residents, that is going to be almost, like I said, annexing an entire city overnight.
Well, and hand in hand with that is the idea that now you're going to be able to have these companies that you're looking at that want to relocate to North Texas see this as a real opportunity for them. Talk to me about Louisville and North Texas. Why does this region, why is this city, again, leading the way in terms of attracting these relocations from around, not just the United States, but from around the globe?
North Texas is the destination for business relocations. You're seeing this exit out of California and other states right now, not just because of COVID, but because of what we have to offer. Texas has won the Governor's Cup, I think, in terms of corporate relocations for the last 8 years. And what we've continued to do as a team, and I say team in terms of economic developers and different cities, local governments, state government agencies, is work together on bringing the right jobs, the right talent to the region. And that includes anything from advanced manufacturing to technology, to telecommunications, to biomedical research, science, aviation. Those are these target industries that we've all focused together on, and we're bringing these supply chains inward. And so when you look at Louisville's economy, we're built heavily on industrial warehouse along the I-35 corridor. That's a very important corridor throughout the United States, and it can connect Mexico to Canada. And so along that corridor, there's a prime logistics warehouse real estate market, and Louisville's benefited from that over the years. We're 10 minutes, 15 minutes from the gate at DFW Airport, and we can provide that commerce to just about anywhere, major ports in the Metroplex in less than a day. So that's a reason why we're seeing a lot of growth continue here. And with Castle Hills, now we've got a place for some of those corporate offices to locate that want to be next to their fulfillment, next to their manufacturing centers. And this is going to be just the perfect kind of combination and marriage of those types of developments.
Well, you talk about where we are right here in Castle Hills, and you look at Venture X and this magnificent building here that basically opened right before the pandemic hit. And it was, of course, a very important now to see that it's 80% occupied. And inside of it here at Venture X is this Work Innovators Network. And we're, of course, very proud of it because of what it represents. But talk about, we're coming out of this pandemic and we've all learned how to basically shelter in place, right, in our homes. But what does it mean to have collaboration back? How does that ignite the creativity that helps us build our communities?
The collaboration is what I think builds our Texas spirit, right? We like to collaborate naturally, and that's really where the companies that are coming in. A lot of them are moving here because we're more collaborative in nature. We work across the aisles in all forms of government, levels of government here in Texas, but more importantly, where they're locked down in other states and other places across the country, we're open for business here. We've always been open for business. We will always be open for business. And we work as a team to make sure that businesses have the best landscape for how they can operate. And we try to remove that red tape. And so that takes collaboration. It takes collaboration not only from the elected officials and our government officials and our regulatory agencies, but also the businesses. We listen to the businesses. They come in and say, hey, we need zoning help for to put up some telecom radio cells. Okay, how do we help you with that? And so that's that collaboration that we're constantly working on. And I think that's why it's going to continue to see Texas benefit from that.
Well, what you've done here is absolutely amazing. What you see this growth, and when we come back, I do want to get to know more about you and how you came to be here. Talk a little bit about some of the companies that are coming here, and also to talk about the importance of legislation, in keeping these incentives alive for people to come here. So we're going to be back with Jason Moore in just a minute. As we go to break, though, take a look here at the Win Innovators Network here at Castle Hills at Venture X. It's an amazing place.
We're going to be talking about our main priorities. We're talking about customer focus.
We relied on people telling our stories. We have a great production team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a first explain, it's got to be very innovative.
Hi, this is Tony Martinez, and I'd like to introduce you to Work Innovators Network at Venture X at the Realm at Castle Hills. We'd like to be your experts to tell your story, to put you on our billboards and showcase your expertise.
What's different now than what's been done in the past?
We are using media and technology to disrupt the world.
Developing projects to see how we can customize the system.
And welcome back to the big move here at Venture X Studios at Castle Hills. Jason Moore joins me once again to talk about all the great things happening in Louisville, and really wanted to focus now on some of the companies that have come and decided to make Louisville home, make this big move something that's going to really ignite their companies. Let's just start by talking about a Dallas company, Mary Kay, that moved their manufacturing and research center here in 2018. That was a big coup for Louisville, wasn't it?
That was a big story for sure. We're 500 employees committed to this location, and that was an opportunity for Louisville residents to get new employment and opportunities there. It was a significant capital project. That was a $100 million plus project. There's a significant investment in the equipment and the business personal property that's included in that facility. So it was a very big win. We're very proud of Mary Kay, but perhaps the most is their abilities and desires to partner with our school districts, with our community. They helped start an entrepreneurial program through Louisville School District, and they fund that every year. And so that gives Louisville high school students an opportunity to pitch an idea similar to the Shark Tank concept,
Mm-hmm.
and they develop it over a class period. Mary Kay sends in mentors to help with that, and so those types of community partnerships that they bring, they sponsor our big Western Days Festival. So that was a big win, and it continues to be. We love Mary Kay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So well known and respected here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. One that isn't quite so well known in this area, but of course is internationally, is Erickson.
Sure.
Talk about their facility they've put in place.
Absolutely. So Erickson, their North Texas or North American headquarters is actually in Plano, and they had a training facility where they had worked on a tower facility. So when you have T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, when those guys go out and put towers or radio cells on these towers, a lot of times they need to know how to, once they're up there and they're way up in the sky, how do you actually fasten those to the materials? So Erickson built this training tower to help with that. They wanted to make sure that they're going to build these 5G radio cells.
Mm-hmm.
And so they started with this training facility, and they came in and met with us, and they said, look, we're interested in making a smart factory that's fully automated
Mm-hmm.
in a future factory of the future. And when I first saw the plans, I thought, that's the Jetsons. You've got the mezzanine where Mr. Spacely walks out onto and oversees the robots, and that's exactly what they've got. It's a 5G factory. It's the only North American 5G factory. And I'll tell you a little story about how we arrived and how they arrived in Louisville. It was really a story about a partnership with the governor's office and the economic development team there and the Denton County Economic Development Department. We all came together and we said, look, here's an opportunity for the only North American factory. We're bringing jobs here. We're bringing manufacturing jobs, advanced robotics.
Mm-hmm.
How can we help? So, of course, Louisville City Council and Denton County commissioners offered local incentives to help bring such a big, high-profile project to the community. This was a $175 million project.
Wow.
And it's a lease. Typically, you don't see that type of investment on
Right.
a lease building. It was a 20-year lease. The state of Texas offered a enterprise zone award, so that's a cash grant. And so the three entities here together really helped close that deal. But the real reason that I believe that they chose us was not only the workforce talent that we have available in this area, but because of Louisville's commitment to sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at what Erickson is nationally or internationally, they're a very sustainable company. They have a goal of a net zero carbon footprint at this facility. This is a manufacturing distribution warehouse complex, Majestic Airport Center, and they're going to have zero net carbon. So they've got solar panels on the carports. They've got water cisterns that are collecting gray water. They've got internal mechanics that are cooling and heating the facility using renewable energy. And so they are seeking a LEED Gold certified for the building itself. And again, you don't see that on a manufacturing plant. But because Louisville, one of our big moves has been sustainability, they recognize that they were in the right place. And so we partnered with them to hit some of these sustainability measures. And I think that's really what sealed the deal.
And I know that sustainability is part of your 9-part plan for your 2025 vision. Talk briefly about that 2025 vision and just how exciting that's going to be for Louisville. Louisville will be 100 years old in 2025, and you guys are working towards that birthday, aren't you?
We are. We certainly are. And we actually won an award from the American Planning Association. It's a national award for implementation of a plan. So a lot of cities and a lot of entities will put together a plan, and it's a guide, it's a vision for how they want to develop into the future. We got the community involved from the very beginning. We've got departments within the city involved from the very beginning. And then the city manager said, this is what the community and the city council wants. Let's step on the gas and get there. And so we've actually been awarded that very prestigious award for implementation. And it's a plan, it's a comprehensive plan, it's the guide to our future. And we are hitting those priorities and those action steps every single quarter. And so it's not only been a tool for us, for me, from economic development standpoint, to know, hey, how do I attract businesses? Where do I attract those businesses? But it goes beyond that. It's how do we incorporate where those businesses go to where they may live? How do we connect them with transportation networks and with parks and libraries and our police and fire through the public safety departments. And it's a great blend of all those things. And I think we're going to end up with a more resilient community at the end of the day and when we turn 100 years old. And we'll be looking forward to the next 10 years, 2035.
It's so vital, so important. It makes me wonder, Jason, how you decided to do this and to make this your career. I know you came from Richland Hills, North Richland Hills. Tell me about how your career has evolved now and into the place where it is, where you really feel like you are making a difference in this community.
Yeah, thank you. So I started out in Parks and Recreation. My dad was a developer, first off. So I got to tell the story about when I was 5 years old, going to city council meetings for zoning changes and hearing my dad get yelled at. That was an experience for me. So I can understand and appreciate the perspective of the developer and the companies looking to come into a community for sure. But I started out with a passion in Parks and Recreation in North Richland Hills. And really, when you look at what is economic development, what do? Well, we are here to foster the supportive environment for business and community development. That is what economic development is. You can't necessarily just have business development. You need the community side, and that's enhanced parks, libraries, opportunities for better jobs, transportation, retail. Every aspect of that can fit within that box. And so I always tell people, economic development, it's public safety, it's transportation, it's fixing the potholes, it's code enforcement. And that's what I love about this role, is we get to touch so many people's lives, not only from kind of their where they sleep at night, but where they go to during the day. And my career path has kind of led me into this role. I love Louisville. I think that the opportunities here are just, even with redevelopment opportunities, are just tremendous.
And so when you're talking to one of these executives, these relocation movers who are coming here and looking at Louisville, it's got to be a lot of fun, because when you have that passion for this community, when you have that kind of passion for North Texas, it's not selling, is it, really? It's just about sharing all the great things they have to look forward to.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And we try not to challenge our neighboring communities, but North Texas in general, we always say a rising tide floats all boats. We're proud when any corporation or company comes to Texas, North Texas even better, and of course we love it when they come to Louisville.
Well, what you've done is amazing. And when we talk next time on The Big Move, I want to get into a little bit more about what this Vision 2025 plan is all about. I know you have, like I said earlier, 9 parts to it. One of the most interesting ones, though, is not just the green space, but also what you're doing with Old Town. So take this last answer where you want to go. What's exciting for you about this 2025 vision?
Old Town for sure is one of my favorite big moves. When I came here, we had a few projects underway. We were fixing the facades on some of the historic buildings to preserve those and the history and the culture of those buildings on the historic Main Street. But we needed more residential to support the commercial and to bring in new retail and restaurants. And I'm very proud to say that we've got several partners that we've brought in to develop and bring in a lot more density to the area, to these train stations. We've got 3 train stations, so our relationship with Denton County Transportation Authority, DCTA, is very important for not only each big move, but economic development in general. People want to go where those train stations are. They can easily get on a train and head up to Denton, go south and get onto the DART system, the Dallas Transit.
Right.
And Old Town is where kind of the heart of that is. So Old Town is the heart of Louisville, and that's where my heart was stolen when I first drove out to Louisville and I saw what the potential was.
Well, we will start exploring it with you next time. Share the stories of how Old Town is coming alive and look at that green space, and really appreciate the opportunity to visit with you and learn more about what you have planned. It's going to be a very busy 4 years, isn't it?
Love it. Yes. Thank
right.
you, Phil, so much. Yeah.
Jason, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this first edition of Big Move. Louisville, I'm telling you, it is the place to come to if you're looking for relocation. You're looking for a place to call home for your business. I'm Tony Martinez. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time on Big Move.